One of the major reasons why a 19-year-old who has just a phone and zero editing skills is going to create a content and it is going to be trending, while someone who has a marketing degree is going to create another content and it is going to struggle to get 150 likes and even views, is because the 19-year-old is creating a genuine content, capturing the moment, and is not even editing it. It's creating something that is generation and most people who have access to social media these days can relate to, while the person with the marketing degree is overthinking, putting too much of things into place, ensuring that it is perfect, which is what AI does, that particularly makes the content look like a generic content. It is not looking like something that people can relate with, and we all know that it is people around the age range of that 19 years that are littered around social media these days. And the major reason is because, like I said earlier, the person with the marketing degree is overthinking, putting too many things into consideration, creating content like we are in the 90s, where only the people that will have access to the content are people who can relate to content that has been edited far too much. The world is changing and the world has changed. So in today's video, let's talk about what we can do to create content that this generation can always find relatable, no matter the industry we are in, no matter the business we are trying to do, no matter the kind of content that we want to shoot. We have to create content that people on social media can always relate with. Now, we are going to be talking about, the trends in marketing and how it is and how it has been evolving and where we think marketing is going, right? So this is where you should be clicking on the like and the subscribe button. So let's dive in. We all know how I usually go about this for the most part. I have a number of things that I have highlighted here that we're just going to be having a conversation about. Like I usually say, this is a conversation. I probably do not know as much as you do already, right? But just as I was saying earlier, in order for us to be able to create content that this generation can relate with, because the truth is, marketing has changed and marketing will continue to change. And why is that? Marketing has changed, sales has changed. These things have changed because people have changed. The kind of people that, you will find in the numbers in the 90s are entirely different from the kind of people that you are going to find in the numbers today. And that is why marketing has changed, because marketing usually adapts towards, the majority, right? Marketing adapts towards the majority. And since the majority that we have now are people who are Gen Z, Alpha, is it Alpha generation you guys call it? Because Gen X is the, far back one, right? The 90s, right? So what I'm just trying to say is that marketing has changed. And the major reason why marketing has changed is because people have changed. The way people see things have changed. What convinces people to take action now is totally different from what convinces people to take action, some 20, 30 years ago. And that is why we have to change with them. We have to change, especially if you own a business or you're trying to create content that people can relate to. We have to put all of these things. We have to put all of these things into consideration, right? So, we create content like we are having a conversation. So this particular generation can relate to it. And that is why storytelling is extremely important. I said earlier that the 19-year-old is going to just capture the moment and just push it out online. You see the way content is, thriving on social media, on TikTok these days. Unedited content, as a matter of fact. And the reason about this is because these contents are genuine. People are actually capturing what someone can say that, wow, I have experienced this particular thing in my life or in my business a number of times. And this particular context, we can always reproduce it in every other aspect, right? No matter the business that you are, you already know your target audience. You are putting yourself in the shoes of those people just so that you can actually relate to the problems that they are feeling and they can see that you are on the same page with them, right? Because when they see that you are on the same page with them, they trust you more, especially when they know that the problem that I am facing, what I need this solution for, this person has also experienced it. So if this person has experienced it and then this person is saying that this particular solution works for it, then it means that it actually works. And that is one of the major driving factors behind influencer marketing, right? For influencers that really know what they are doing, for the most part, they live the life of their audience, and when they live the life of their audience, they sell the things that their audience can actually relate with. And that's why it's extremely important, even as an influencer, to sell things that you believe in. It's extremely important, even as a marketer, to market things that you believe in. And that is something that I say every time. If you do not trust what you are selling, it is going to be almost impossible for you to sell it adequately. If you do not have belief that that product that you are selling actually does what you are saying it will do, you are going to, your confidence level is going to be reduced because you are going to be extremely skeptical. You will not know exactly what to say. You are going to be trying to be diplomatic with your words. But when you are trustworthy because you actually believe in what you are selling, then it becomes an easier conversation, because at that point it just looks like you are writing a review online. So let's say you go on Amazon and then you buy something, and you are extremely happy about what you have bought. You go there without thinking twice, without having to prepare for what you are going to write, because you have actually used that product. You are talking about it directly, and that way you are, there's going to be the sense of genuineness in what you are doing. And that's why it is important that, whenever you are trying to sell something, ensure that it is something that you have seen, you understand the process, you know exactly how it works, you understand it from the first level to the last level, and you know what the customer is going to experience. So even if there are now, certain instances where things do not go 100% the way, you thought it is going to go, you are going to know that, okay, there are just, one or two instances where things do not go the way you want it to go, and that happens everywhere. So let's go back to search, right? Let's go back to, creating content that matters. And the truth is, in order to be able to create content that matters, you need to even know what people want to see. Knowing what people want to see, you can never take it away from SEO. And SEO, search engine optimization, is even moving away from search engine optimization, as Neil Patel will like to call it, that SEO is now search everywhere optimization, and not just Google, because people's behavior have changed. And when people's behavior changes, then marketing to them will definitely change. And that is why, as marketers or as business owners, we have to be extremely innovative. And not just innovative, we have to understand how the market works per time. Because when you understand the buying attitude or the buying behavior of people that you want to sell to, it ensures that you are now more creative around how you are reaching them, where you are reaching them, and the best way for you to actually reach them. Right? So I was talking about search everywhere optimization, which means that people do not wait until they open Google to actually search for the things that they want to see. When you open Google, even Google today, and then you type in something to search, and once you type in something to search, for the most part, you are going to initially see an AI overview, which is the Google AI pulling results from their database, and giving you something that's extremely specific to what it thinks you want to see based on how you have searched. And then you are now going to scroll down and even see references to TikTok videos, references to Instagram posts, even on Google. It means that people do not even wait to, look for restaurants near them, or spas near them. They don't get to Google before they make those searches anymore. Right on the Instagram app, they go into the search bar and then they search for restaurants. Right on the TikTok search bar, they go into the search bar and then they search for restaurants. The same thing happens for Facebook. The same thing happens for Pinterest. The same thing happens for every other social media platforms, at least the major ones, LinkedIn and the likes. So people do not wait until they get on Google to actually make this search. And that is why it is not just search engine optimization, it is search everywhere optimization. So you have to go into each of these social media platforms, understand how people are searching for things that is related to what you sell, your product or your service on each of these particular platforms. For the most part, right, you are going to find keywords that can work across board. You're going to definitely find keywords that can work across board. You're going to find keywords around how people are searching. It is, for the most part, it might be the tone of words that is going to be different, but the search idea is still the same. So go into TikTok, click on the search bar, know how people are searching for your product on TikTok. Go into Instagram, click on the search bar, know how people are searching for your product or your service on Instagram. Go into Google itself, click on the search bar, generate keywords, know exactly how people are searching, and then you're now going to be forming keywords that will now model, that you're not going to model your search criteria on. Which means that at the point when you are creating just one or two content, anyone that is searching on TikTok is going to get that content on TikTok. Anyone that is searching on Instagram will get that content from your business on Instagram. Anyone that is now even searching on Google will get that your content on Google as well. So search is changing, and we definitely have to adapt with it. So now I feel like for the most part, that is the first level towards this thing, understanding how people in this generation are searching for things. And after you have now understood how they are searching, you now need to know exactly how you are going to reach out to them, how you are now going to create that content that they can relate with. It's because it's not just about them searching for it, they have to find it valuable. And we all know that there are certain things that are valuable now that people that were adults in the 90s will think this is bull crap. This thing will definitely not work in 1970. This thing will definitely not work in the 1990s. But the world has changed. If it is working now, then it works. And whenever something works and it has not broken, continue to do it. I am a big advocate of that. If it is still working, in marketing, if that operations or that process is still working and you are not losing money or you are not losing traffic because of that operation or process, please continue to do it. Because the moment you make changes, you are testing again from scratch, right? So, we have to create content like we are genuinely serious about what people are doing. No matter how old you are, you have to create content that works towards the target audience that you are pushing. So, except you're actually creating content for old people or you're selling products or services for old people, which in a way it is going to be the lesser audience. And this is about, talking about the majority, which we all know that they are the youths. Most people are on social media these days. In fact, if you're not on social media these days, you are intentionally killing your business. But that is not the bone of contention here. Where I'm going with this particular line of conversation is you have to understand how people search. Now, you have understood how people search. Now, you have to understand the kind of content that they can connect to and relate to. So ensure that you are always, personally, I'm not a big fan of TikTok, but as a marketer, I run TikTok ads. I do not have to like it. You do not have to like that platform before you begin to do something on it. I post on TikTok and I don't even think I have the TikTok app on my mobile because I'm not a big fan of it. But then I have a TikTok account and I actually have a platform where I post on TikTok, and whenever I get likes, comments on TikTok, I am able to see it. Right? And that is the most important part. I have TikTok mobile, I have TikTok web, I do my research on TikTok, I run ads on TikTok because I am a marketer, and it's extremely important. Once you know that this is where your audience is, you have to go there to meet them, and you don't have to go there to meet them alone. It is just like someone, you already know that your target audience are school children, tertiary institution, right? And then you have an avenue of meeting 500 or 600 of them, and then you go there, and then you're not talking about something that they cannot relate with. You're talking about something that is only 50-year-olds or 60-year-olds will relate to. That way, you have identified your target audience. You are where they are, but you are not giving them something that they can connect to. You're not giving them contents that they can relate to, and that's why you have to always read the room. You see, the way I look at it, I was telling someone that the person that usually creates our blog posts. And then I was having a conversation with him just yesterday, and I was telling him that the way we want to write our blogs these days is like we are having a conversation with someone. I told him to just imagine that, okay, we have given you this blog topic and these keywords. Let's assume you have read about it, and then you are now a subject matter expert, right? And then they now called you and gave you a mic that talk about this thing. That is how I want our blog posts to come off from now, because at that point, the way you are going to talk about it is the way you are going to write it down, and it is going to be more relatable than just writing it like an average content. In fact, we go about it these days when we are trying to work on SEO generally these days. I cannot say SEO is dead, but we try to incorporate every other social media platforms into it. After we have generated all of those keywords, we find out the ones that can particularly cut across board, because there will definitely be keywords that when you search on TikTok, on Instagram, or on Google, at least for 3 platforms, that keyword is going to work. How we usually go about it these days is to actually create content like this first, and then when we create content like this first, we push it out on TikTok and every necessary platform as a different content itself, and then we now go back to that content, we now transcribe it, add topics, add images, add GIFs, add videos, and now turn that into a blog content. Because that way, anyone that is reading the content, and I'm talking about, we are going to be including even filler words. Sometimes it is in writing, and imagine having filler words. We've started to do it, but imagine having it makes it more relatable even when you are reading it. Why do you think we are always engrossed when we are reading novels? Because we can actually picture it happening, and when you can actually see the expressions in the words, we are clicking on enter, and then we are making it look like it is a personal conversation with you, right? But there has to be a balance between all of these things. But the idea around this thing is that is how it works these days, and that is exactly what you should be doing, because that is what we are doing. And it is extremely important that these people, when they are looking for these things, they are finding it out not in a way that is going to be boring to them. Initially, attention span was on 7 seconds. Someone was telling me that I think the attention span these days has gone down to about 3 or 4 seconds, which means everything that you are doing, you have to ensure that you get people's attention as fast as possible. Because if you are not, and the way you can do that is either in the audio that they can relate to, that you are playing, or something that they can see in their life, something that they can always, you are captivating them, right? I usually tell people, most especially people that go for conferences, that if you are going for conferences, ensure that it is recorded. And after it has been recorded, please have a blog as well. Transcribe it and put it in the blog. Because, it is extremely important that we do these things. In fact, I was going to mention it, that the best way to actually go about these things, right, is to have a podcast. Neil was saying that we have only about 4 million podcasts in the world today, and then we have over 1 billion blogs. Now, what are the chances, right? No matter how saturated you think, no matter how I was not going to say saturated, but no matter how unsaturated you think your industry is, you will definitely find at least 1 million blogs in that industry. Now, imagine you now trying to look for 1 million podcasts in your industry. It makes it extremely difficult. You will almost not find 10 or 6 or even 2. For the most part, yours might even be the first. And it is even easier to rank on podcasts than on blogs, and that is another channel that we have to put into consideration. Create a podcast, transcribe it, and turn it into a blog. Push out the content from the podcast on YouTube, cut it out, put it on social media. You have already created content for all of these platforms from one podcast, and it is going to be something that a lot of people, millions of people, can relate to it. That is where marketing is at the moment. And then there is also something that I mentioned, right? I was talking and then I said search hardware optimization. Search hardware optimization, the way I look at it is, there are refrigerators that will tell you now how much milk you have left. And then at the click of a button, the refrigerator is going to order milk to your apartment. That is where marketing. In fact, there is already a company. This particular thing that I mentioned, I actually saw a video of it actually happening, right? I saw it happening, and that is where marketing is going. Search hardware optimization, where you can even make others make searches right from your address. It has left social media. It is still on social media, but it has gone beyond social media to even hardware. Refrigerators can already give inventory and order online. Televisions can also do the same, and that is why as business owners we have to know about these things before it becomes mainstream, and ensure that by the time it is getting mainstream, we have tapped into it and we are already using it, right? And that is where marketing is, and that is how you can create content that this generation basically can connect to. There is also the part of voice searches. I believe in 10 years, 90% of people will search using voice. And because of AI integration, we have used ChatGPT, and where we are talking about a number of businesses, and ChatGPT is going to actually be recommending companies to you. What do you think they are doing? They are optimizing for AI. They are optimizing for search. They are optimizing for voice searches, right? And that is where the AI optimization comes in. The truth is, you don't even have to. It is not like there are specific actions that you have to take for your business to rank on AI, because once you are ranking on all of these social medias at once, AI is also picking up on it and is establishing you as a thought leader, as an industry expert. And at that point, it is relating and connecting you, because the search on social media is similar to the search on AI, right? And it is also connecting you in this way to all of these things at once. And it's extremely important that we put all of these things in place so that we are not going to be that marketing degree holder that is struggling to get attention that an average person is getting easily online. Sometimes I face that situation as well, where we overthink things because we know what works and what does not work, and we are trying to form a message out of it, right? And from that overthinking, it waters down the quality of our content, because we cut this off because we think it is not proper. We cut this off because we think it is not proper. We cut that off because it is proper, but it is not. It is not something that marketing professionals will recommend, right? But when it comes to content, you are having. I like to look at content these days like you are having a conversation with someone. When you are talking to someone, there's a limit to the editing you can do. There's a limit to the filters that you can use, and that is why it is important that when you are pushing out this content, you should ensure that you are going about it exactly that way, putting a limit to the things that you are editing, so you are going to come out more genuine. Because when you do that, these people, this generation, people on social media today can connect and relate better to what you are doing. And I feel like I've come to the end of today's video. If I also started a series where I review content from social media platforms. I review content, not particularly review in a negative way. I learn from it and then I explain it. I talk about it on the spot, not particularly me explaining it. So you definitely find videos of me with Neil Patel, videos of me with Gary V, videos of me with Alex Somozi, Eric Siu, and a number of these marketing experts, where I learn on the video and I also talk about, see what I feel about that content on the spot. You'll definitely find this on my YouTube channel, so you should definitely be clicking on the like and the subscribe button right now if you are yet to do that, so that whenever I post this type of content and this type, that type of content and this type of content, basically, you will be one of the first few people to view it. So thank you very much for your time, guys. I'll see you on the next one.